Hey everybody, and welcome to the patch 13.9 review. As always, the review video, these patch notes will be live about, I want to say 5 to 10 hours after this video goes live. So by the time you see this video, these will likely be live. In the continuing saga of this patch is so small, I don't really know how to make much content about this. This patch is so small that I don't really know how to make content about this. We have nerfs to 2 champions, small buffs to 5 champions, reworks on Kayle and Neeko, and to be honest, that's about it with this patch. So let's go through it. Neeko's getting her giant rework. I don't want to go that far into it. I know I said I would make a video on it. I just didn't. Not because I probably shouldn't have, but because I just kind of didn't. So Neeko's getting a big rework where she can become anything. Yeah, she can become a non-epic monster, minion, trap, ward, plant. Yeah. In return, a bunch of her abilities are also getting like changed a little bit. Basically, they're trying to push jungle Neeko. They're trying to push Neeko into the jungle, and they're trying to push her ability to like disguises things more, so that it's like more of an ability that you actually play around, and not just something where like you take the form of a weird champion, then you just like flash into the middle of the opposing team with your ult, and that's it. That's like 100% of your gameplay. So hopefully this makes Neeko a more interesting champion. Hopefully, I don't know. For Aatrox, they're reverting 2 of the nerfs they did earlier. So his health damage previously it was 5 to 12. Now it's going to be 4 to 12. So this is a partial revert. His early game damage on his passive is still a little bit nerfed. And the movement speed on his ultimate has been fully reverted back to 60 to 100%. So since Aatrox was first nerfed, that means that his healing on his E has been massively reduced in the late game. But in return, the slow on his W and the cooldown on his W in the late game has been, the slow has been increased and the cooldown has been decreased. Kitty is chewing. Kitty, stop. Yeah, basically Aatrox as compared to before will heal less but slow more and have more W's in the late game. I still think this is not going to be enough because they're reverting 2 of the least significant nerfs that they did, and they're not even fully reverting his passive so that he can actually lane better. All in all, I don't really expect this to be too impactful. I'm going to be blunt. I think it will move him from literally trolling your team to pick Aatrox tier to people will probably be able to get Grandmaster now with Aatrox, but it's still going to be difficult to do more than that. Amumu's getting a bit of a buff. His early game flat damage on his Despair is going up, and then the late game health damage on his Despair is going up. Even though they're nerfing the flat damage at rank 5 of his W, the health damage increase will more than compensate for that. 0.4% means that a champion would need they would need somehow less than 2,000 health late game for this to actually be a damage nerf late game. I literally don't think it's possible. So yeah, basically a damage buff early game by 8 is pretty good. Then a damage buff late game by like 4 to 10 is like, you know, that's not that significant, but you know, it's okay. Helps him a little bit, especially against tanky champions. Overall, just a buff to his damage. Bel'Veth is getting a buff to her jungle clear. Instead of her Q dealing 120% to jungle, it will now deal 140%, but her attack damage growth is being reduced by 0.2 a level. This should make her Iceborne Gauntlet build a little bit weaker because her base damage is going down. Overall, though, I don't really see this changing that much. She'll be a bit weaker, but not by that much. But in return, she can clear the jungle and get a bit more fed consistently. Once again, I don't really see this doing very much. There's not much reason to dwell on this. Jinx is getting the smallest damage nerf you've seen. Late game Jinx is losing 4 damage. That's right. Late game Jinx is losing 4 damage. It's so impossibly insignificant. I'm not even going to go over it even more to like try to like pretend that, you know. So Kayle is getting a buff on her Starfire, Kayle's getting a buff nerf thing The AP ratio on her Spellblade is going down from 25% per attack to 20% AP per attack. They had more nerfs planned as well, but they seem to be kind of playing it a bit unsafer. They seem to be trying to push her a bit hard. Kayle can now attack during her ultimate at full range. The cast time on her ult has gone from 1.5 to a mere 0.5 seconds. The range on her ultimate has gone up significantly. The duration of her ultimate is flattened. So instead of 2 to 3 duration, it's now 2.5 at every rank. The delay until the swords fall has gone up. The damage from the swords has gone down by a little bit. Basically, Kayle will deal less damage, but now she can attack while ulting. I don't know. I guess for some people, that's fun. For me, that seems like they're making her less fun, less interesting as a champion. And once again, it seems like they're going to be trying to balance her even harder on the idea of like killing people in her ultimate, which I don't think is a good gameplay mechanic to balance a champion on just killing people while she's invulnerable. I guess her ride, this is a good gameplay mechanic. To be honest, the biggest thing that Kayle will get and will likely get her nerfed is not this patch, but next patch. They're completely obliterating Force of Nature into the ground, which, as I suspected, they were going to do, and I talked about a lot when they were changing champions like this. With Force of Nature being obliterated into the dirt, that means that all these mages that they've been chain buffing, like Rumble, Kayle, Teemo, they're going to be way stronger now. Which, yeah. Sion is getting nerfed. He'll die faster in his passive. Yeah. Basically, Sion will die faster in his passive. That's about it. You might have noticed with all the new health items and stuff that Sion was taking a very long time to die. Yeah, so he'll die faster in his passive. That's about it. It does solidify that Sion is now balanced around Heartsteel. I'm not sure that Heartsteel is a good item for the game. I'm gonna mention this every time. There's like the totally cool and fun items that are like clearly like not exactly balanced and are definitely pushing the boundaries of what is acceptable. Heartsteel scaling that much into the late game with that much HP is definitely screwing with a lot of balance. And as we're seeing with Sion here, the issue is he lives too long in his passive because he has too much health. But, you know, come preseason, if they remove Heartsteel, then Sion will die too quickly in his passive. And so I don't exactly like it when Riot like makes these items that are clearly over the top for what they're trying to do, and then they balance the game on them, knowing full well they're just going to remove or nerf that item into the ground at some point anyway. Swain is getting buffed. Basically, his Q will have a little bit more base damage and a little bit more AP ratio. Not that much more HP ratio, not that much more base damage, but a little bit enough that you'll probably notice it. And it should mean that if you're taking full shotgun Qs with Swain, or if you're hitting full shotgun Qs with Swain, that your opponent will have to, or will react to it a bit more, as in they might die. Swain's a bit underpowered right now because he was overpowered, and then they smashed him with like 10 trillion nerfs. I don't know if it was that many, but it was a lot of nerfs. Taliyah now is a change. They listed this as a huge change, but it's not like that huge of a change. Basically, Taliyah can now cast her ultimate even if she's dealing damage. So it used to be if she dealt damage or if she took damage, she couldn't cast her ultimate. Now it's only if she takes damage, she can't cast her ultimate. So Taliyah can now whack people with Qs, then ult away. Which, I guess they're reverting the base attack speed nerf they did to Trundle in a shocking turn of events that I am shocked by. Everyone is shocked by this. Nerfing the base attack speed on Trundle to one of the lowest in the game on a champion who primarily attacks for all his damage, killed that champion. Yeah, so the thing is, Trundle needed to auto attack for like all his damage because that's it. I mean, his damage was his ult and his Q, right? So all he could do was auto attack. So they slashed his base damage to one of the lowest in the game, and then Trundle was not doing much damage, which had, you know, a little bit of an issue for its viability. You know, when a champion can't deal damage, they tend to not be viable. So now they're undoing that nerf because that was a stupid nerf. Like, sometimes this design team, they do the dumbest goddamn changes you've ever seen in your life, only to later on revert them, and then you wonder to yourself, like, what was the point of this? What was the point of this last, like, half year where Trundle was just completely goddamn terrible? What was the point of that? What was gained by that? What was improved in League of Legends by making Trundle a useless piece of shit pick for, like, half a year? Volibear is getting buffed, but he's actually getting buffed way harder than people realize. So during the durability update, they nerfed the healing on Volibear's W, because every champion got more health, they got more armor, they got more magic resist, etc., etc. And this meant that healing ended up being way stronger, because your health was worth more because people had more armor and magic resist, and then percent health healing was worth more because people had more health. Now they are reverting all the nerfs they've done to his healing. So with the nerfs to the healing debuffs and the durability update, health and armor and magic resist as I went through, this means that Volibear is now healing the most I think he's ever healed. So tank Volibear is now going to be way tankier. Particularly in 1v1s, I expect him to be basically impossible to kill unless you're like a Divine Sunderer user or something like that. So yeah. In addition to that, they're reverting the health damage nerf they did. So it used to do 6% health damage. It got nerfed to 5%. Now they're bringing it back to 6%. Will this be enough for Volibear to be useful? So I think Volibear will definitely be useful into certain picks, into certain comps. Like, I think he'll easily shred through a champion like Set. He was already pretty decent into Kosante. Not like, oh my god, amazing, but, you know, pretty decent. So I expect him to be even more decent into champions like that. Tanks will likely be unable to kill him ever again. So yeah, I definitely think Volibear, I don't think he's gonna be like super useful into every champion, but definitely into certain champions. Yeah. Lich Bane's getting 10 more ability power because no one built Lich Bane. I mean, it was basically the Twisted Fate item, right? So now they're buffing Lich Bane. Expanded emote wheel. Oh, you can now use more emotes. I mean, that's pretty cool, actually. So you have reactions and then emote wheel. And instead of 4, you now have 8, which is neat. Oh, they've also added search to the emote collection. So I guess like 5 years after they added emotes, they finally decided that maybe emotes should be useful? Question mark, I guess. Maybe you should actually be able to look through them. I mean, I have a lot of emotes. I'm not going to show you guys, but like, damn, it's pretty much impossible to search through emotes. That's ARAM changes, behavioral system changes. You can now report people in-game. Huh, okay. As for bug fixes, I'm going to be dead honest. I have never actually found the bug fixes which changed the game. Like that Ornn bug fix, I didn't notice it was gonna do so much. I mean, they didn't write exactly what they were doing with it, right? So I haven't seen anything here that's really that impactful. The only ones that like kind of impactful is Samira's R animation might be canceled unintentionally. Fixed a bug where Jarvan, the fourth ability activation voice line would play during the recast, which is a bit too traumatic for lowering the walls. So Jarvan will no longer go Demacia, Demacia, which I actually think I don't actually like that. I actually like that Jarvan was just fucking screeching about Demacia for the longest goddamn time. No skin bug fixes I'm gonna go through. As for champions, I don't think I'm going to go through the Patrons this week because this is like a super short patch. So the shorter the video, the more people are going to click on it. And so if I go through the Patrons, like if it's like a 40-minute video, it doesn't really matter that much, adding 3 minutes to it. But like if I could keep this video down at like 17 minutes, that means a lot more people will actually look at it, right? So before I go over the skins real quick, I just want to thank you, all my YouTube members. You guys are fantastic. I want to thank all my Patreon subscribers. You guys allow me to continue to make videos like this. If you want to join my Patreon and help me continue to be able to make videos, that is absolutely fantastic. Additionally, I've been streaming on Kick. I've been trying to get that to work. So if you've been missing me and you've been wondering, where have you gone? Well, I've been starting to stream over on Kick to, see if that's like a viable thing. I'm not, obviously, people keep asking me, are you done with YouTube? No, I'm not done with YouTube. I'm just trying to see if Kick works. YouTube streaming has several issues with it, including that they've never really updated their UI for it, which is very frustrating for a lot of people. So, we're going to see, maybe put a few more weeks into it, see the viability of it. If it continues to, if it grows, that's good. If it doesn't grow, well, that's bad. And then, we've always still got YouTube. So I haven't forgotten about any of you people. I'm just saying that now before I go over the skins, because some people have been a bit frustrated thinking I'm like abandoning them. I'm not abandoning anyone. You guys can follow me anywhere, right? Like, I got a pretty decent memory. I remember all your names, right? So if you want to go to my Kick, yeah. As for these skins, okay, so we got Inkshadow, Aurelion Soul. I mean, the reason I have nothing to say is I don't really feel anything about it. I don't know. I mean, it's Aurelion Soul with, like, I guess, I mean, I'd have to see in game. They're not really, who is that? Kaisa? I dead honest thought that was Vi. Why does she become more Asian every skin? Okay, so once again, we have to see in game because it's not really explain. I mean, she's got the horns, right? Inkshadow Master Yi. Okay, I should just like skip the art because this art is so stylized that it's not even like. Okay, so I guess he's not wearing a shirt. Okay, Inkshadow Udyr. I'm gonna have to look in game. I don't. Okay, so this one at least we see he's like a tiger man now. Okay, I mean, that's different. That's a different look. Okay, so Udyr's like a tiger man. He's like orange. I don't think he's had an orange skin. I mean, I guess you could chroma. So, actually, I guess you could. But, he looks like a tiger. He's got like a man bun. Neat. Inkshadow Yasuo. One's orange. One's green and older. Okay. Inkshadow Yone. Isn't Yone the older brother? How come he looks like 30 years younger? What happened? Okay. Inkshadow Prestige Yasuo. He went down 20 years. Yone went down 30 years. He went down a good 20. Okay, let's look in game to see what these actually look like. Okay. So looking at you, my friend of Aurelion Soul, I'm gonna be honest, it's not as impactful as I thought it was gonna be. Plus the actual like animation and look they decided to use for this is goddamn terrible. This is really bad. I can barely see what's going on in this skin. Why don't they just show the full dragon? Why do they only show it like from above where you can only see his head and a little bit of his chest? That's really a bad angle, right? Okay, there's not enough to go on there. It's Kaisa with midriff, and I guess they still wanted to show thigh highs. God, that must be a pain in the ass to put on. It's like a gigasock. That goes like all the way up. It's like they were gonna just draw her with pants, and then someone at Riot was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Are we showing off her thighs? Okay, don't forget to sexualize the monster girl. Because remember, Kaisa is a monster character, okay? Inkshadow Master Yi. Master Yi without a shirt, and they decided to cover his lack of shirt, so you can't really see how that looks like. Like the one defining feature of this skin, and you can't see it. So he's got a hood, that's cool. I like the weapon. I like the coloring on the base skin as well. The chroma coloring is not as good. This is a bit like orange and black is like oh man, it's like pops out, So I like this one. I like this skin. It looks different from other skins I've seen in Mastery as well. So I like this one. I like that one actually. Inkshadow Udyr. It looks like Udyr. This is boring. This is very boring. I'm not excited at all. Maybe the animations in game are better. I'm sure the animations in game are cooler. It probably doesn't use like lightning and like a green shield. It probably uses like, well, I don't know, Inkshadows, right? But so far as the actual visual, it's boring. It's uninspired. Yep, this Volibear skin looks actually kind of badass, not gonna lie. Giant tiger, that's pretty cool. I like this. Yeah, I like this a lot. This is good. This is neat. This is interesting. I like this. Yep. Okay, Inkshadow Yasuo. It's Yasuo. They probably spent $900,000 on animators for his animations and shit, so it looks cool. Probably bought out like an entire sound design team to spend 2 years making the sounds because it's Yasuo, you know, his skin cell. But so far as the actual modeling itself and all that, it's boring, it's uninspired, it's typical, it's boring. Shadow Yone. I mean, at least he's got the mask. He looks different from other characters, or sorry, other skins of Yone, I guess. He's like a reverse female character. He put a mask on instead of showing more of his body off. He's also got a shirt, so that's cool. Yeah. Okay, so that's every skin. Ranking them. Okay, Yone. I kind of like Yone. Yasuo, boring. Volibear, love it. Boring. Actually like the Master Yi one. Kaisa, I'm gonna be dead honest. It looks unique, but it doesn't do anything for me. It does literally nothing for me. Then we got Asol, and he's I don't know what to say because like the angle is so bad that I don't know what to say. I don't know what this looks like. I don't know what to say. So yep. That's it. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it, everybody. And I hope all of you have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye, everyone.